Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you 2 easy and natural ways that you can relieve water tension in your body. These are both going to be safe and effective remedies that you can use daily. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about water retention and just that is a symptom of something else going on in your body. It's really important that when we have these symptoms that we consider bothersome, that we don't just try to squash it, that we ask ourselves, why in fact is this happening? Because it's your body trying to signal you that something's going on. And if you ignore it, then you're not really doing yourself any good. For instance, let's say that your appendix. You're having a pain in your side and you know that your appendix is inflamed, and so protocol would be to run to ER and let the doctors handle it. And the way they're going to do that is they're going to remove it. So I liken this to having a toilet that's dirty and clogged and not functioning properly. And so we call the plumber, and the plumber says, yeah, I'll be right there, I can help you out. And so when the plumber comes, he promptly removes the toilet from the bathroom. He's like, all better, I fixed it. Well, he sure did. Now you have no toilet in your bathroom. And the problem with that, in regards to removing the appendix, is that is the lymph node to your colon. So you just took the toilet out of your bathroom when you have that removed. Instead of just removing a symptom and saying that everything's fixed, which really it isn't, you're gonna have more problems in the long run, it's better to ask yourself why. Why is this happening? Well, in the case of your appendix, it's inflamed. And why is it inflamed? Because you've been eating acids, you've been eating foods that cause an acid response in the body. And those acids are just in your lymph system. They're causing congestion and hardening and dehydration. And then they're also eating up every little organ and gland in your body, because your body is swimming in lymph fluid and it should be alkaline. So I didn't mean to get off on the appendix, and there are natural ways that I would handle it myself. I would not go to the doctor first thing, but I'm not going to tell you to do that. You make your own decision, but I'm telling you there are natural ways to handle that. Okay, back to what I was talking about, water retention. There's going to be several reasons why you could be retaining water. Number 1 could be dehydration. And number 2 would be that your body is trying to buffer itself from the acids in your lymph system. It's trying to put something in between the acids in your cells and organs and glands so that those acids don't harm it. And really those two are related, because if you are running acid, if your pH in your lymph system is acid, you are also dehydrated. Okay, so just drinking water is going to help that to some degree, but really you have more work to do, and it largely is related to diet. You want to eat alkaline foods, living foods. The 3 biggies that I think cause an inflammatory and acid response in the body would be sugar, meat, dairy. There's other things as well. Basically, your alkaline foods are your raw fruits and vegetables. That's what you want to stick to as much as possible so that you don't have these problems. So before you get rid of your water retention, you might ask yourself if you are willing to eat an alkaline diet to help protect the body so it doesn't have to retain water. Because if you drink this tea and you flush all that water out of your body that was protecting you, then maybe you're not doing yourself such a great service after all. Just something to think about. Okay, and I had to narrow it down to 5, which was really hard to do. It gets too complex if I add 10, and that's not even necessary. You don't even need that many. If you have one of these herbs that I'm going to show you, make a tea out of that, because that's going to help you, okay? But a lot of times when herbs are put together, they help each other. Like, get more done when a group is working together. It's kind of that. First one we're going to use is horsetail. Horsetail is a great herb. It addresses the kidneys and the adrenals, and it's a diuretic, so it's going to flush water from your system. Next is dandelion, and it also targets the kidneys and the urinary tract, and it's going to be another great one that's going to help us relieve water retention. So we're going to add some of that. Corn silk. Now, what I'm always going to remember about this herb is that I was making a tea for some guests that needed help with something, and the first thing they said when they saw this, or the man said, was, "Oh, I used to smoke that when I was a kid." Okay, well, we're not going to smoke it. I don't care what it is, smoking it is not a good idea. Okay, anyway. And I also always like to add a couple of adaptogenic herbs to any recipe I'm using. The great thing about adaptogenic herbs is that they will go in and balance the body regardless of what is happening. They're super herbs, really. Okay, so the ones that I'm using today are ginger root and lemongrass, which is one of my favorites, and I'm almost out of it. We're gonna finish it up today. And consequently, they also help with the taste of this tea. Okay, so now I'm gonna get started and show you how you can make this tea. You are gonna need something, since we're using dry herbs, you're gonna need something that you can put the dry herbs into that's not gonna get all in your tea water. Now, that being said, you can throw it all in to a pan with some water and get it until it boils, turn it off, and then strain it out. Okay, no big deal. But what I like to use, well, there's several different options. If you have any linen tea bags, you can fill that up with the herbs and drop it into your water. I have all kinds of little diffusers of strawberry, this little thing, but these, not my favorite, because you do end up getting some of the herbs into your water, and then you have to strain it later anyway. My favorite thing to use for making herbal teas is this glass teapot, which I'm absolutely in love with. I use it all the time, several times a day, in fact. And this comes with a diffuser thing. It's got little tiny holes in it. Just put it in, and then we're gonna add our herbs to this, put the lid on, and put it on the stove. So we're gonna start working on this. Now I filled my teapot up about 2/3 full with water, and I'm gonna add the equivalent of about a tablespoon of each of these herbs into my container. You could use less if you wanted. I'm pretty used to taking them with herbs, so they don't. A tablespoon is not gonna be a problem for me. And I'm gonna do that with 4 of the 5 herbs. I'm not gonna do that with the ginger, because I've learned the hard way that a little ginger goes a long way. And the longer this sits after it's, the longer it sits and steeps, the stronger it's gonna get. So, whoops, the first batch of tea you drink will not be as strong as the second or third. Pour out of the teapot, I should say. There goes my lemongrass. Okay, and like I said with the ginger, I'm only gonna do probably like a teaspoon. Okay. Good. Put the lid on. And I'm just gonna turn the stove on. We're gonna bring this to a boil. Now, all the herbs that I'm using are basically leafy, so we'll just bring it to a boil and then I'll turn it off. If you're dealing with barks or roots, those type of herbs, you're gonna wanna let it boil a little longer because it takes longer to extract the properties from them. My tea is just about to boil. I'm gonna let it go a few more seconds and then I'm gonna turn it off. In the meantime, let me talk about the second thing that you can do for a natural way to alleviate water retention. And what we're going to do is we are going to get some water and we're just going to add lemon and lime to it. And that is going to be a refreshing drink that you can drink all day. The lemon is cleansing. It does have some diuretic properties in it, but the lime especially is very specific to water retention. So you can drink that all day. You can also drink the tea all day and as many times as you want. It's just going to help you. You know, I didn't even talk about, we're just addressing water retention here, but herbs themselves have so many different nutrients. I mean, they're really just superfoods in and of themselves. So many benefits besides the one that we're talking about today. They have just each one has numerous things that it addresses. Okay, that's boiling. And turn it off. We need to let it set and just steep for a few minutes so it can get stronger. Okay, what I'm doing is just slicing 1 lemon and 1 lime, and I'm gonna add it to my water pitcher here. And I keep this right on the edge of the countertop here So anybody in the family can just swing by and get some. If the lemon and lime taste is a little more than you're used to and you think you're gonna have trouble handling that, you could add some maple syrup or maybe a little bit of vanilla, pure vanilla extract or pure almond extract, and that will aid some of the taste. So that is such an easy way that you can help to flush your lymphatic system, flush the extra fluid out that's not serving you. My tea is ready, so once you have it, let it steep for a little bit, just go ahead and pour some in the glass and enjoy. I hope that both of these you will find very useful for water retention and that you will use herbs in everyday life and natural ways of helping your body to overcome difficulties. Okay, thanks. See you next time. Hey, I'm back again. So I want to add a little postscript to that video because I realized that I didn't really tell you where you could get herbs if you don't have any. I usually get mine from Mountain Rose Herbs. There are a lot of different websites you can go to that have great, you want organic, but Mountain Rose Herbs is one website that you could use, and they have just about everything you could look for. I also want to give you a quick tour of the of my pantry and how I store my herbs, which might give you some ideas for how you want to organize them. Hold on. Okay, so I'm only going to show you the top 2 shelves of my pantry because the rest is kind of a mess. But you can see here, I have all my tinctures along the front. Tinctures that I use daily for different things. And then I have the herbs in jars labeled with chalk markers, and I have lined them up in alphabetical order, so I pretty much know what I have right away, if I have an herb or if I don't. And the other good thing is that I've cataloged them all in a notebook, and I try to write as I use them. I write down what I use them for, you know, under each, I have a heading for each herb, a page for each herb, and if I use it in a recipe I write that down. Just kind of my own little materia medica, which is really helpful when you want to, you know, you forget what you can use them for, and so that's a great reminder. Okay, so that gives you an example of how you can organize your herbs. Until next time.